Coming up tonight on MUTV News Monday, we have a campus crime update you won't want to miss.
Plus, a well-known correspondent was on campus today. We will let you know why.
All that plus weather and sports. MUTV News starts right now.
Live from Marquette, this is your campus news source, MUTV News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Burke.
And I'm Travis Smith. In our top story tonight, students around campus are being warned tonight to remain aware of their surroundings after two separate incidents this past weekend. On Saturday, a student was sexually assaulted near the corner of 21st and Wells. Then last night, an armed robbery took place near 19th and Kilbourne. The suspect in the sexual assault was apprehended a few hours after the incident. However, the robbery suspect remains at large. Anyone with any information is urged to call the Department of Public Safety. Well, CBS National News correspondent and Marquette alum Ben Tracy stopped by the AMU this afternoon for a panel on media and politics. He and other panelists discuss how the media coverage of this election differs from past elections. Tracy examined the way super PACs, political advertisement, and social media have influenced the campaigns by attracting younger people to the candidates. The event concluded with a question and answer session with the panel.
A traveling theatrical production that critics are calling a small masterpiece is coming to Marquette for 2 nights next week, when the Fiasco Theater Group will be performing their original performance of Shakespeare's mock epic Cymbeline. This wild, witty, and challenging stage classic normally calls for about 14 roles and an abundance of props, yet it's performed by Fiasco using just 6 actors, a bedsheet, and a large trunk. While tickets are going for around $50, Marquette students are invited to pick up a free ticket to the dress rehearsal. That'll take place on Thursday, October 11th. Production will be held at the Hellfair Theater, and the official performances will start on Friday, the 12th.
Well, Marquette released its annual security and fire safety report for the previous school year earlier today. The report highlights serious crimes and fires that have taken place in university buildings and on campus. Overall, crime has gone down from year to year. And fortunately, all on-campus fires were minor and caused no injuries. However, the report did highlight the fact that alcohol-related arrests and write-ups were up from the previous academic year. Coming up after the break, a New Jersey girl sends a simple tweet and has the whole nation worried in minutes. That and much more. MUTV News will be right back.
Hello and welcome back to MUTV News Monday. Well, a Milwaukee police sergeant named Charles Cross has been fired after being involved in a drunk driving crash back in May. Police sergeant's blood alcohol level tested over twice the legal alcohol limit. Cross later lied about the incident, and investigators uncovered that Cross would frequently come to work late and left early on numerous occasions. 16 other Milwaukee police officers were also disciplined after internal affairs investigations. Cross is appealing the firing and has a court date that is yet to be set.
Well, it was a false alarm for a New Jersey police department after a teenager tweeted that someone broke into her house. The teen begged Twitter followers to call 911, resulting in nearly 6,000 calls in the next 12 hours. That is more calls than the total number of households in her small municipality. When police arrived at the house of Kara Alongi, they found the house undisturbed and Kara long gone. The case is now being investigated as a runaway juvenile case.
Man was killed in an industrial accident today at a printing plant in Pewaukee. Police department says the worker was trapped under a 5-foot stack of paper. Just before noon, Waukesha County Sheriff's deputies rushed to the warehouse to try and save the trapped worker. Investigators will not say if the man was using a forklift, but says he was the only one injured. Waukesha County Sheriff's Department says they will release the names of the victim on Tuesday.
Well, the student accused with causing a bomb threat at Greendale High School apparently did so as a way of retaliating after he was nominated for Homecoming King as a joke. 17-year-old Nicholas Olson was initially charged with a felony, but the school district later reduced the charge to a misdemeanor. Olson said that he made the threat as a way to get back at classmates for years and years of bullying.
Well, here's a story that was certainly making us hungry in the newsroom today. Today was National Homemade Cookie Day across the United States, as thousands of Americans prepared original batches of dough to be shared with their friends and family. While purchasing pre-made dough at the store was considered allowed, most people preferred to create their own whole batch from scratch. This day serves as a great excuse to indulge in many warm, sweet, and chewy treats to escape the blustery beginnings of October. Well, when we come back, Peter Axmet will have a look at our 5-day forecast. We'll be right back.
Good evening, folks. This is Pete Axman with your weekly MUTV News weather forecast. Highs right now at 60 degrees, the dew point at 49, humidity at 5%. It's actually kind of dry out there. Some of you with sensitive skin may put some lotion, little chapsticks on. Barometer's at 29.81 inches, so it's not too much. If you have a head cold, it's not going to be too bad for you. Winds out of southeast at 8 miles an hour, so it's not too bad, but expect those to pick up as the week goes on. Highs today were 70, a low of 52. It's a little bit above average. We've kind of been experiencing some above average weather all through September. We'll see what October holds for us. Records 93 back in 1988. That must have been a trip. Sunrise today, 6:43. Sunset at 6:30. It's getting shorter and shorter every day, folks. I, for one, am not pleased about that. Look around the nation, 73 on the West Coast, 89 in California, experiencing a bit of a heat wave. Our neighbors to the south, Chicago, 60 degrees, so about the same as us. 69 in Minnesota, 71 down in Atlanta, and 66 on the East Coast. Around the states, 64 in Eau Claire, 61 in Wausau, 57 up in Green Bay, not too bad for a football game, 63 in Madison, and like I said earlier, 60 in Milwaukee, so it's not too bad, but we'll see how it goes throughout the week. Tonight we have mostly cloudy, 52 degrees. It's be a little cooler, so you might want to leave your windows closed tonight, maybe bring the plants in. Tomorrow for class, 63 and partly cloudy, more of the same what you had today, maybe a little sweater, maybe some jeans, whatever. Here's your 5-day forecast today, 63 tomorrow, and as the week goes on, it's only going to get colder. Lows in the 36 on Fridays and Saturdays. Ouch. Bring your coats out if you're going out to a party or something like that. So that's all your weather I have for you today. Stay tuned. We'll be back with MUTV Sports. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Nick White with MU Sports. After the Green Bay Packers and New Orleans Saints game on Sunday, the Packers are lucky to be 2-2. Green Bay was 7 points up at the half after James Jones scored a touchdown, but the Saints came back and put up 13 points in the second half. The Packers were able to get a touchdown with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter to solidify their win, but just slightly. The final score was 27-28. The Packers play the Indianapolis Colts Sunday, October 7th at 1 o'clock. The Milwaukee Brewers are now 81-78 after 5 games behind the St. Louis Cardinals in the wild card and play a 3-game series against San Diego. This will be the last series of the season for them, but they made a good run at the end. Even though the Brewers are almost done for the season, you can look forward to the NBA and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks start the preseason on Tuesday, October 9th against the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the Golden Eagles, the number 10 ranked Marquette men's soccer team beat out Wisconsin in a 2-1 overtime victory to increase their record to 10-0. Marquette's next game is against Connecticut on October 6th at 7:05 at Valley Fields. Women's volleyball is now 12-3. Holly Martins was named Big East Player of the Week after leading the Golden Eagles to a close 3-2 victory at Notre Dame and a 3-0 game at DePaul. Finally, men's basketball season tickets went on sale last week. An email was sent out last week for students to purchase Fanatic tickets. They are $99 to attend 16 home games and to receive a Marquette Fanatic t-shirt. Their first game is Friday, November 9th versus Ohio State in the Carrier Classic. And that's it with MU Sports.
Hello and welcome back to MUTV News Monday night. Well, the Rayner Library is putting on an interesting exhibit this week, showing off books that have been banned for various reasons. I'm joined now by the Marquette Tribune's Jacob Bourne, who's going to tell me a little bit more about this. Can you just kind of give me a little bit of background as to your story that's coming up in this issue?
Yeah, it's a banned book exhibit that the Rayner Library is putting on. This Banned Book Week has been going on for actually 30 years now. It's the 30th anniversary. And it's just about letting people know that there are banned books out there, and just why these bans are books, and also to promote anti-censorship in a way to like saying that artists such as authors or songwriters, they have that freedom to say what they will because of the First Amendment.
Now, I think that when a lot of people probably get this image of banned books, they either get this sort of Ray Bradbury, you know, everything being banned, or this, you know, very old-fashioned idea of it. Is it something that really still does go on in American schools? Yes,
it's actually, there are many books that are being banned. For instance, like people would think maybe Slaughterhouse-Five or 1948, but there are books actually like The Hunger Games that are being challenged by people who believe that it is not right for kids to be reading.
Now, is it often something that you see particularly in schools, or are public libraries doing it also?
Most of the time it's schools that want to limit what the students are reading. For instance, there's one book called Plain Song that my personal high school had a little problem with because there was a rape scene in it. And it was just, people believe that that is something that high school or even grade school students should be reading, but then there are also people that are saying that no, these are classics that need to be preserved for how they were written.
Sure. Well, and you kind of hit on that you know, your high school may have had a problem with it, whereas others wouldn't. Did you find sort of in your research for this that there's regional differences, or perhaps, you know, religious reasons why certain schools will do it and perhaps, you know, one region won't?
Yes, it's not, banned books aren't something that the entire country recognizes. It might only be a certain group of people, like you said, or even certain schools in a certain area that decides they want to. It all depends on what the administration of these schools think about the books and who is challenging it.
Definitely. Now, obviously, with Marquette participating in this, it's clear that they obviously have a stance against banned books. But why do you think that they see the need for, you know, open-mindedness with everything being available?
Well, this is actually part of the Freedom Project that the university is putting on. So, because of the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. So, Marquette University's stance on it is that it's a good thing to promote this almost like self-revealing information about you and what your views on it through writing and stuff like that. Like they have these two big whiteboards of writing your favorite book on it, and it's all about that some views of one people aren't necessarily the views of others, and that these works should be viewed for what they are, not for what certain people believe are the themes of the book.
Sure. Now, I guess an interesting thing that sort of comes off of that is, I don't know if this is something you encountered in your research at all, but did you, in speaking with, you know, any of the library faculty, have they ever encountered a text that they just didn't think was appropriate for the library, or had that ever come up?
As far as I know, no, that hasn't happened. I'm actually going to be talking with the lady tomorrow, with Emily rather, who is the person that got it all together. And I'm sure she'll be able to give me some more information that readers can look for in Thursday's paper.
Sure. Now, are there any specific events that are associated with this, or is it sort of more just sort of a bringing awareness?
Well, there was today a bunch of faculty read their personal favorite books, like Slaughterhouse-Five in 1948 and Lord of the Flies, that they felt were important for readers to hear. And then Thursday, there is a film festival that is going on that they'll put movies on of banned books like Lord of the Flies. Twilight is one of them, and The Hunger Games, like I touched on earlier. Those are 3 of 4 movies that will be showed.
Now, do you think that any of these books that, you know, sort of have the banned idea associated with them, do you think that helps or hurts them? I mean, I always think back to sort of high school, you know, reading Catcher in the Rye and think, oh, this is what was banned, and then you read it and you go, boy, this really was not bad. You know, do you think that helps or hurts books, in your opinion?
I think it depends on what light you look at it. I think that some people want the, I guess, called thrill of reading a banned book, but I think also, depending on the person, if it's a banned book, they might be turned away from it, which is exactly the idea of a banned book. I personally read Catch-22, and I thought it was a great book, but I know that had been a book that had been challenged for a few years.
Sure. No, definitely. Well, I think that's all the time that we have, but certainly thank you for coming in and talking to us, and I'm sure that you know, we'll certainly look forward to reading your column. So thank you very much for joining us. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, but I would again like to thank Joshua for joining us, and on behalf of Travis Smith, Peter Axemet, Nicholas White, and myself, we'd like to wish you a very good night, Marquette. We'll see you Wednesday.